we was it trade deadline? You were talking about Joel Bouchard, and you had some harsh words for him. You
Hmm.
said that, like, a guy of your caliber or like your experience, veteran experience, whatever it is, you said you could handle it, but I mean, you weren't too sweet on the words. And some of the fans are curious with Joel Bouchard now going to the San Diego Gulls of the AHL, Anaheim's farm team.
Yeah.
You mentioned how you weren't a fan of him and you did not want him around your prospects. So now is the time to elaborate. The fans been wanting it. What's going on with Joel Bouchard?
Yeah, this is great timing. Obviously, I said what I said when we did our trade deadline show, and he was still a part of the Montreal organization. We're obviously a Habs channel, a positive community, so I wasn't trying to slander the guy or shit on him. I just saw all the feedback, and he himself does a great job of portraying that he's this amazing communicator and he's this great coach. And again, a lot like when I talked about Julian, I want to separate the person from the hockey coach. I think Joel Bouchard is a fine human being. I got no issue with him as a human being. I could go for beers with the guy. We'd have a great time. But as a hockey coach, you know, I said I didn't like him around the young guys, and I can elaborate on that now that we have some space and he's out of the organization. Not that it matters anyways, but I just felt the respect for him. He's still in the organization. We're a positive Habs channel. I didn't want to, shit on the guy, but and that's not what we're about, obviously. But I've been getting so much reaction. I got tons of reaction before. Everyone's ripping me as if I didn't know what it was like. Obviously, I played for the guy. I'm in the dressing room with him every day. I have a lot better insight than people that are sitting on their computer and watching interviews of him and don't know anything about the way he coaches and the type of person he is as a hockey coach. So let me elaborate into some of those things that I saw. He uses, and I think this is successful in junior, where you scare kids. You just flat out scare kids. Kids are so scared. They want to be a hockey player so bad, and you hold that power over their head, and you use that against them, and they're so scared to voice an opinion, tell somebody about what you do, or I'm not. It's not the cancel culture. He's not hitting people. It's nothing like that. But the way he treats people as a hockey coach is just, to me, it's so old school. The whole game has just evolved from that style where, you're sitting in a video room and you're just slaughtering a guy and just going over the top on it, as opposed to teaching. Like, he would just like belittle guys in front of the whole group so many times. And to me, as an older guy, like I said, I can chuckle about it and I can laugh. But when I was a young guy in those situations, and I had John Tortorella, and I'm not comparing him to John Tortorella. I think John Tortorella is a better hockey coach than him. Obviously had a lot more success in the NHL, but very, very similar where, just belittling. And when you're a young guy, you're stressed out every day coming to the rink. You're like, if you're a call up, you're like, holy smokes, I don't want to, I don't want to do something where like the veterans will get mad. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. So you're already uncomfortable. And then you have this coach just belittling you in front of the whole team. You feel about this big, and it just shatters your confidence as a player. It shatters you as a human being. Nobody deserves to be treated like that. And it's just, like I can say from a personal, opinion, I was there. I was that young guy, and I couldn't put it together, man. Like when I would get called up to New York, I was dominating the American League. Like you can check my stats. As a young guy, I was dominating. I'd come up and I wouldn't play well, and I didn't play well for New York, whether it was training camps or when I got called up my third year, because I was like literally so nervous and so scared to make a mistake. I literally couldn't play, and that's just the effect that those type of coaches have on you. And man, that's all I saw there was constant belittling of guys. And just that attitude towards people. And then there was times like, we went on a bus trip. I think we lost a game, and we went on a bus trip, and it was like a 7-hour, 8-hour bus trip. And we stopped halfway through the bus trip, and he just sat there at the front of the bus staring at guys as they walked off. And it was just so weird to me. And he was like pouting, and like, it was just a weird thing to me. Like, I talk about what makes a really good coach a coach. And that's when a guy can separate his personal life from hockey. And this guy was just an emotional roller coaster from day to day. You didn't know what kind of human being you were getting. And it was just, to me, man, not just a really toxic environment. And we had a really good team at that time, and we were struggling because this guy, to me, we had older guys like myself. We had, I think, 5 or 6 guys on one ways making, over $1 million, where his tactics weren't working, where you weren't going to scare guys like that.
Yeah.
If he could yell and try to belittle me, he'd be like, okay, man, whatever. Like I've been there before. You don't scare me. You don't affect me. Like it's fine. But he works great with a team of like young guys that he can scare. And, and as for the hockey side, you want to talk about, and I've seen a lot of comments about him saying, people are like, well, you should have took Ducharme's job and he's a great hockey mind. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't see any technical, strategies or coaching out of him from my time there. Like, it was like, we're going to work hard and we're going to skate as hard as we can in practice and we're going to be the best conditioned team. Like we were doing stops and starts in morning skate. I remember teams watching us and laughing at times, being like, what are these guys doing? It's something I've never experienced on any other team in any other league in my life. We were doing stops and starts in the morning, like bagging. It's
game day skates.
Game day skates. We would do it every single day.
For those of you that don't know, game day skates are usually just fluid drills, a little bit of systems, half hour, 45 minutes probably off the ice. Just get the legs moving.
Oh yeah, you want to feel the puck. You want to feel good. Not a bag skate. Red line back, blue line back, red line back, blue line back. So to me, that's just like, again, old school mentality. Like zero, like new age advanced science on like making sure guys are rested and stuff like that. But there was just like it was let's work hard. There was no, I don't know. There wasn't a lot of systems. There wasn't a lot of teaching. So it's, to anyone that thinks that they lost this like golden egg, like he's gone from the Montreal system, as a guy that's played for both, that'll lead into our next topic here. Like I think they made the right choice
for sure. And I just quickly want to touch on it. A lot of fans, they don't see or hear the stuff like guys that have been there like you have, but they see the AHL team win the North. But I mean, that could also be argued with Montreal's prospect pool and the couple additions they've made, having Primo down there. Montreal's prospect pool is pretty good. And in the AHL right now, they only played in the North, I believe it was. And so a lot of fans were confused because they see the AHL team doing so well,
right.
And like you said, they're asking for Bouchard over Ducharme, and Ducharme just brought you to the Cup final.
It makes no sense to me
this time.
It makes no sense to me when I look at the American League and I watched some of those games, and like Manitoba, the Moose were horrible. Belleville was atrocious. Toronto wasn't much better. Like you played those same teams. They were not good teams. There was like, I said it halfway through the year, like when we were talking about the Caulfield thing, like that's borderline American League talent in that league this year. Like it was, you had junior guys there that probably shouldn't have been there because, of COVID and stuff. Like, and give Laval credit. Like they had good players. They had really good players that played well for him. A guy like Jordan Wheel played great for them. And they got good prospects. Like I'm not taking anything away from their prospect, and they have a lot of good prospects, but I just can't believe, and I understand, like when I was hurt a little bit in Laval, and I would sit up in the stands and I'm watching like in between periods and stuff, and it would constantly just be the Joel Bouchard show, like just constant videos of him in between intermission, and I'm watching, I'm like, who is this guy talking in these interviews? Like I haven't seen this guy behind the scenes. Like holy smokes, this guy looks like he's like, I was just flabbergasted by the image that he could portray, and then it was like nothing like that. Nothing like it.
So essentially you're just saying like Bouchard, like his old school tactics aren't made for today's NHL is what you're saying, and why you wouldn't want him around some of the young prospects now.
Right. And man, I told Berge and Claude Julien when I first got traded back here and I went down there for a week, they asked me right away, as soon as I came back, they didn't even ask me how my game was. It was like, how was Bouchard down there? And I was like, I didn't say much. I'm like, are you guys testing me? Like, what are you trying to do here? Like, and they're kind of laughing. So I think they knew, you know, what kind of coach he was, and I don't know if they liked it. I don't know. Obviously they were liking it, but I don't know, man. It's for young guys. To me, that's not the new way of teaching. That's not the way you treat people in the world. In any profession, that's just not the way you treat people anymore.